welcome to another very exciting tutorial. I'm back. I haven't been posting anything for a while, but thankfully I'm back and I'm here to create really awesome visual effects using CSS and JavaScript. So I hope you enjoy the upcoming tutorials. I want to mention one thing. Nowadays you hear a lot about AI generated websites and all that, but these effects and these things I put on the website for you to use, they cannot yet be generated with AI. You obviously heard about websites like Midjourney and let's say ChatGPT. They're really good for creating like graphics or let's say the layouts of your website and also the content, but you cannot really generate these visual effects. So I'm here to help you build those effects, and for today I thought I want to share with you how you can create these cool sort of visual effects. When you hover on the link on a website you create, you can see how the underline actually has this cool animation. So it goes from basically left to right and then it vanishes from the right side. So let's get started. I'm going to go to codity.netlify.app. This is where our code editor is hosted right now. It's going to go back to codehost.com, but without further ado, let's get started. So let's create a link here. I'm just going to call it my website link. So this can be any link on your website, top navigation, maybe links any other place. So now going back to CSS, what I want to do is in the Codity editor, I'm going to choose SCSS, which is a preprocessor. Makes it much easier, much more readable, and much less code to write CSS. I have videos on my channel for SCSS if you don't know what it is, but it's simple preprocessor, pretty much similar syntax to CSS, and ultimately it gets generated to CSS. So for now I'm just going to change the font size to be maybe 40 pixel, so we have a bigger one. And then what you want to do is you want to change the text decoration to none. So we're removing the actual underline here. Next thing, I want to add the after. So after is now, we're going to replicate that underline using the after pseudo element. So initially we put the content to nothing. We set the position to absolute. And then we set the top, not the top, but left to 0. And then bottom to 0. I'm going to show you why. And by the way, if you set a pseudo element's position to absolute, you want to make sure that on the original element, you want to set the position to relative, right? So that it actually considers that as its parent. Now, I want to do the width to be 100%, and then the height to be maybe something like 4 pixel. And then you need to give it a background color or a background. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use current color, which uses the original color that I have on the link. So now if you change the color here, for example, to red, you can see that the underline gets to be red as well. So that's quite handy. As you can see, I want to have a bit of a distance between the actual underline and the text. So I can set the bottom to be -10 pixel. And then the next thing is we want to create the animation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the transform to be scale x, so scale on the x-axis to 0. So now you're not going to see it. And then what I want to do is create the hover pseudo element. So hover, and then on hover, which means when I hover on this, mouse over on this, I want the after to have this scale or transform scale x of 100%, right? So now you can see when I hover on it, you see that it actually has this effect. But I want this to be animated. So now I'm adding a transition, and then I say the transition is transform because we are changing the transform scale, and then 0.4 seconds, right? So now you can see that you have this cool sort of animation or visual effects when you mouse over on a link. Now, this might be enough for you, so go ahead and use it, but otherwise we want to create this. So in order to create this, what I want to do is on the hover, on the after, I want to set the transform origin to be here, right? So this is going to be on X and y-axis, it's going to be bottom, and on x-axis, it's going to be on the right side. So you have this, right? On the other hand, I want to have the transform origin originally to be on the left, right? So now you see that you have this effect, which is starting actually from the other side. So you can see like it's coming from right to left. So the only thing I need to do is change it to right and the other one to left, right? And I'm going to tell you why this is the way it should be. So as you can see now, we have exactly created this cool effect, as you can see here. So the reason is, what happens is that initially we set the transform origin bottom right. So we put it right here, right? But when we hover on it, we switch the transform origin to be bottom left, right? So what happens when you set it to bottom right, it means that initially you want the origin of your scale to be here. That's why when you set on the hover, when you set it to 100% from 0, it actually fills it from left to right, right? From left to right. And then when you hover out, you see, when you hover out, it changes it to bottom right, as you can see. So it actually goes from 100% to 0, assuming that the origin is right on the x-axis, right? So that's the whole idea around this effect. I actually personally use this a lot. In the upcoming Kotus.com website, I have added this effect. I think it's pretty cool. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions, any comments in the comment section of the video. I'm going to put the link to this as well, so you can actually open it and start looking at the code and potentially use it. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I wish you the best day and night wherever you are. Bye.